Welcome back. Well, there's been a dramatic increase in the number of people falling victim to scams. The SA Fraud Prevention Service recorded a surge in money muling, impersonation, as well as fake documents. It believes this is due to people looking for ways to make ends meet in tough economic times. So let's discuss this now with Tezi Mabuza, who's from the Consumer Commission. Tezi, thank you so much for your time this morning. I mean, when we're looking at the recent statistics that would come out about this very same thing, it paints a picture about the desperate economic situation that many South Africans are finding themselves in, and therefore are falling prey to some of these scams. Talk to us a little bit about some of these findings.
Faith, what we have seen is that sometimes as consumers, we become a little bit hasty in really looking for bargains. And then there are certain telltales in relation to the rights that we have as consumers. First of all, you've got the right to choose who you want to transact with. But on the other side, the supplier as well has an obligation to disclose certain information. But then while looking at that, we don't even check as to whether the person that we are transacting with, is it legitimate? Are they in South Africa, or whether maybe they are checking out? Because sometimes we have issues, as you have said, of identity theft, and also of suppliers that are parading as if they are like they would have a company.za website, actually either hijacking somebody else's credentials while they are not even in South Africa. So those are the areas that we are really finding problems with, wherein we are really desperate and we can't even assist consumers even if they are coming to us for refunds.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of it is also around the issue of impersonations. I know that you've experienced a significant amount of, just the numbers as well when it comes to people being, impersonating others, whether through IDs, whether through cards and the like. What has been the experience so far?
The experience of us as the commission is that we would find companies that sometimes would find that it's a name of a particular company, but then they have changed maybe the last or three lines or so forth, or maybe they have put a dot somewhere else. And then when you check also the address that the company, the responsible company that is trading in South Africa has, and the one that is actually online, they have a different address altogether. And also when you're looking at the payment gateway, you'll find that when you look at how to pay, you'd find that sometimes you are not even paying to a banking app in South Africa. It will be something else in another country. And then when we also follow up with other jurisdictions in those countries as well, when you really talk to other regulators and you say, would you please check this company for me because it seems like it's trading from your country, and you would find that actually it's not even in that country as well. They have impersonated somebody else also in that country. So it becomes really very difficult, because when you conclude a transaction online, the area of transaction or the jurisdiction, the person that has jurisdiction that you will be transacting with is where in that company is situated. So in that case, if the company is not situated in South Africa, you conclude that transaction online, then as the National Consumer Commission, you don't even have jurisdiction to assist you in that area.
Sure. Tezi, I know that there are also those provinces that have been very vulnerable. For example, with the Western Cape, I understand that we've experienced a significant increase, I think over 130% or so of increase in just the number of fraudulent practices that are happening there. And I understand that the big issues are Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and then obviously with the Western Cape, though lower in terms of numbers than the other provinces, but higher in terms of the amount of fraud that has happened in the past year.
Yes, it is. We're finding that in Gauteng, especially during this period, most of the people will be buying, like last year, people were buying gadgets like your computers and your laptop for kids. And then you'll find that like in KZN, people were buying building material online. And then in the Western Cape, most of the people will be going on vacation, and then there will be a B&B that is being paraded there, and then people are paying, you get there, it's not even existent. So that is those kind of areas, I think, Faith, that we would like to talk to South Africans and say, before you transact, just make sure that you check that platform that you are transacting on in terms of the security, because one, it's not only about your money that you are paying that you are going to lose. It's also about your credentials. That's the other first thing that we want to talk to consumers about. But secondly is that check if the supplier, you have your Google map. Once you go online, you have all the tools at your disposal. Check the address that they have put on. Take that address, put it on Google Map, and see where it is. Most of the companies that people are complaining about, it's either it's a site in a residential area that is not occupied, or it's a garage somewhere, or it's at the airport wherein there is nothing, there's just a plot at the airport. So please check those addresses. But secondly, as well, after when you have transacted as well, before you check out, check in which currency you are going to pay on, especially if the currency is going to be converted. Check the initial currency, if it's in dollars, it's in, let's say, Australian dollars, American dollars, or so on. Check where the company is, because immediately when it's outside of South Africa, we cannot assist you. And then as well, the other area as well, check on the taxes as well, because you would find that there will be a shipping company. If that shipping company is not legitimate, then you don't have to transact with that company. So all that we are asking you as a consumer is do your background check first, because you are at the comfort of your space. You have all those tools at your disposal. Use them responsibly.
Yeah, and speaking about consumers being more responsible, Tezi, are there any figures to suggest perhaps where are the vulnerable groups, or which are the vulnerable groups? Is it, when it comes to those criminal elements that are targeting, are they targeting those that are of the older generation? So let's say like 65 plus. Are the younger people also becoming more vulnerable and therefore being duped more by some of these criminal syndicates? Where are those vulnerable acts? I mean, my natural almost instinct says, look, if I have a grandmother, for example, and she's getting phone calls from somebody saying, can I use your account to transact money and then you can send it to me? It's easier for her to be able to say, okay, I can trust this individual. I'm just wondering, where are the most vulnerable groups in terms of just consumers in this country?
Faith, to be honest, people like at our age, you're 50 plus and all that, we believe more in a physical handshake thing. So we kind of like taking on this online transaction very cautiously. So the people that are most vulnerable are your younger generations that are hype, that are looking for quick fixes, that really are checking on kind of like gadgets and all that, wherein they are looking at different markets to really look for bargains. So it's people that are really in the working classes, below the age of 50 mostly, that are transacting online. And you would find that your social media users are the most vulnerable, because people sometimes don't understand the relationship between a person that's doing business in the ordinary course of business. So when we are saying the ordinary course of business, it's when you get a business that is trading, that's it's their forte to actually sell commodities. And then you get Tezi that will go out and buy 10 pairs of shoes, and then they put them on their social media status and say, I've got this Prada shoes, I've got this bag, I've got this Gucci bag and all that, and then I'm selling it for you, and then for you to actually get this, you send me money through e-wallet, and then or maybe you either use a voucher or something like that. So those are the younger generations that are really looking at means of really making sure that they get those brands easier, but social media as well. It's wherein we get people that are being preyed on social media mostly, because that's what we also saw with the issues of sanitizers, is that people would be looking at social media and like, I'm buying a mask, I'm buying a sanitizer and all that, and Tezi has just 2 or 3 posing that from her garage, and then she doesn't deliver at the end of the day. And those are the areas that we're struggling with, because even if you have a legitimate complaint with us, when we try and serve an investigation to just inform the supplier that we are investigating, we need information, we can't even serve. Just from the word go, immediately when we start just making our preliminary checks to start investigating, we just hit a snag. So we
Tezi,
can't move any further.
Yeah, I have to leave it here for this morning, but thank you so much. Very insightful conversation. Acting Commissioner there, Tezi Mabuza.